Hello, and welcome to this demonstration of ACPAC CRM version 5.7 Solo Client functionality. Solo is the offline disconnected solution for users who want to be able to enter CRM data even when they are not connected to the server. The Solo solution allows them to synchronize their data to their client laptop, make updates while they're disconnected from the server, and synchronize once they get back online. The Solo solution has been greatly enhanced for ACPAC CRM version 5.7. Let's take a look. In CRM 5.7, the new Solo solution replaces the existing solution in CRM 5.6. We are no longer limited to SQL Server 2000 installations for Solo. The new solution works with Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, Sybase, and DB2 CRM systems. Another change is that the database that's used on the client is a customized version of the SQLite 3 database. This is significantly smaller than the previous Microsoft desktop engine that used to have to be installed on client laptops. On the client machines, you require either the ACPAC CRM personal web server, also known as JADU, or if the system detects that Internet Information Server is already installed on the client, we will use that. And IIS is a requirement if you want to use ASP pages on the client machine. The CRM client web server, or JADU, is integrated with the DLL and serves up pages to the user on their local laptop. The SQLite 3 database is a small, embeddable, zero-configuration SQL database engine that is installed by the ACPAC CRM product onto the client machine. There is no configuration needed. It's an extremely light solution. And significantly, the offline database supports UTF-8 compliance, meaning all international characters are catered for, and also supports large-sized databases if you elect to bring a large volume of data offline. Further information on the SQLite engine is available at sqlite.org. The installation of the ACPAC CRM Solo solution has been made significantly easier in CRM version 5.7. Now, you can install the Solo solution as easily as you install the Outlook plugin. It's a single click to get the process started. It's user initiated once they're enabled for CRM Solo. And it's a simple, small download. Regarding licensing, note that you can't enable more users in your system than your license says. And the option to install a CRM Solo client only appears if that particular user has been enabled for offline access. So in summary, the new ACPAC CRM version 5.7 for Solo users is database independent. It's a click-and-go client install. It's broken the dependence on SQL Server replication. If you're not using ASP pages, there's no IIS required on the client, which is a significant improvement, and it's a small install. There is a three-step process to the installation. First of all, the user clicks the install button on the server. This downloads the information to the user's client. Then, once the program files are installed, the system structure, such as screens, views, entities, etc., are synchronized. And finally, the business data is synchronized. So what does the client see? Well, the end user gets a new screen, which we will see in a moment, allowing them to configure what data they take offline. And the CRM server administrator can control what data these users bring offline as well. So let's take a look at the solution and see how it works. First of all, let's take a look at the administrator's view of the new Solo system. The administrator logs into the system, goes into the new administration area, goes into the user area of the system, and selects the Solo option. This screen shows you a summary of all of the users of the system, and it is here that you enable users for offline access. Let's enable John Finch for offline access. We check the box, click Save, and John is now ready to start setting up his Solo client. Two other tabs in this area: the snapshot status. This is the summary information of the screen structure, report structure, field structure that gets synchronized to the client on the initial sync. This does not need to be regenerated very often unless you have done a large amount of customization of the system. The configuration area of the system allows you to define whether or not you're going to synchronize via HTTPS, the secure mode, whether you would use data filtering, most often you will. It detects whether or not clients must have IIS, in other words, whether or not they will be able to use ASP pages, and it also sets up some ranges. Note that in CRM 5.7, identity ranges are the new way of allocating record numbers within the database. This is a change from SQL Server identity management in CRM 5.6. So we've now enabled John Finch for Solo access. This is the extent of work required by the administrator at this point. Let's log off and log in as John Finch. Because John is enabled for Solo, he gets a My Solo Client tab. However, before we go there, let's go to the Find area of the system. John might want to select a group of contacts that he regularly uses. For instance, he may want everybody that's in a particular city that he is about to visit. Let's take the New York contacts, and you get 22 contacts returned. Using the new CRM 5.7 functionality, John can save this search for himself. Let's call it My New York Contacts. We save that off. And that's now available to John for future use when he comes into the Find area. However, the second effect of creating this list of contacts is also relevant for Solo. Let's go to the My CRM area of the system. We select the Solo Clients tab. And we click Change. From a user perspective, Actac CRM Solo is really easy to install and configure. On the left-hand side, John selects which contacts he wants to bring offline. For instance, he may elect to only bring off his New York contacts, the group that we just created in the saved search. He might also elect to bring offline all of his contacts associated with the opportunities that he's working on. On the right-hand side, this is where he sets up his additional data to bring offline, such as his communications and the actual opportunities that he's working on. Let's save this. And because, again, he's enabled for Solo, he can go ahead and click Install Solo Client. He gets the license warning, which he accepts. And now he is prompted to go ahead and install the Solo client onto his client machine. Note that he's being prompted as to whether or not to install the PDF reports functionality in CRM 5.7. Because this is an additional 7 megabyte download, he may elect to do this later or not at all, depending on his speed of connection. However, we'll accept that functionality and click Next. And the initial program download occurs to bring down his program files. And then also, because we took the option, the PDF reports functionality is downloaded. Next, the application starts getting installed on his machine. Note that I have initiated this installation from John's machine. It is not possible to install the Solo client anywhere else except from his machine. The application installation proceeds. Once again, this is all of the program files, such as the DLLs, the image files, etc., that are being downloaded right now. Next, the PDF reports functionality is installed on his client laptop. This allows him to be able to run his company, person, opportunity, and case summary reports while he's on his Solo laptop, and also any reports that he wants to run while he's offline can be made to appear in Adobe PDF now that he has this software installed. The installation of the program files has been completed, and so John is prompted to launch the CRM Solo client. The browser window pops open now, and notice that we are now pointing to his local client, which is different from the address used by the server. As this is the very initial synchronization, John clicks log on with his user ID and password, and a validation takes place to understand, is this a valid Solo client talking to a valid Solo server? At this point, an initial synchronization of the system structure takes place. This is the application of the snapshot which we mentioned previously applied to the database, plus any additional customization changes that may have been applied since the snapshot was generated. These are all being installed into the database on the Solo client. And once that's completed, we will be logged into the system. At this point, all of the screen structures have been downloaded to the client, and you can see you've been automatically logged into the system. Total installation time for an initial sync like that should take a couple of minutes. click the Find area of the system, you'll notice that all of the screens are now in place. However, if we click Find, there is no data in the system. John could elect to start entering data right away. However, we received this warning here telling us that we must synchronize with the server to obtain our offline data. To synchronize with the server, John clicks the Synchronize button. He is required to synchronize the database, and optionally he can download new and updated documents from the server. This would include template documents, merged documents, global library documents, and any documents he may have elected to bring offline with his library. This is optional because this may increase the size of the synchronization, so he has the ability, if he's on a slower connection, not to synchronize that data. John clicks the Synchronize button, and again, the business data and the communication is established with the server, and the business data, which we selected earlier on, is brought down from the server. Again, note that CRM 5.7 allows this synchronization to happen over HTTP or HTTPS, the secure mode. So there are no additional ports required to be opened on your firewall, except the regular HTTP port. Once synchronization has been completed, John's automatically logged back into the system, and you can see now that his calendar has been filled with data. And if he was to go and find a company in the system, the contacts associated with the data that he elected to bring offline have all been brought down. As well as that, if we go to My CRM and Opportunities, John's opportunities have been brought down. He's now free to go ahead and start logging data while he's offline and synchronizing with the server when he goes back online. To check the Synchronize area again, there are two parts. You get your last database sync result, which is a success, and also because our client clock and server clock are in line, we're able to do the document synchronization. Note that the server clock and the client clock need to be roughly in line in order for the document synchronization to happen, because the versioning is done based on the timestamp within the operating system. John's now ready to go ahead and see his information. Now, if John were to go ahead and create an appointment, or rather, if he were to go ahead and perhaps edit an appointment, potentially bring a laptop, and save it. This change has been made now on the solo client. Now, if we go to the solo server and look at the calendar and tasks area, potentially John or some other user in the system could actually change the same appointment. So here we are on the server, and somebody else might go in and change this appointment to say laptops will be supplied. So now we have updated the same appointment both on the client and the server. And in fact, we've updated the same field. John goes back to the client here. This is the client machine. He clicks Synchronize, and clicks Synchronize again. and the initial or the updated data synchronization is brought down. In this case, you can see the communication that we updated is being brought down. However, as you'll remember, we updated the same communication on both the client and the server. So if we look at this communication now, you will see it says laptops will be supplied, which is the server version. When a record has been updated both on the server and on the client, the server will win. However, in the synchronization area here, you will see new buttons have appeared called View Conflicts, and Clear Conflicts. If we view the conflicts, we get a conflicts log for every time that we synchronize. And you can see here the record that has been conflicting is displayed for us. So you can see the server said product training in Seattle, laptops will be supplied, and the client said product training in Seattle, bring a laptop. In this case, the server wins. Note that CRM synchronization uses record level synchronization in 5.7. To close this window, we can go ahead and clear the conflicts, and the log is empty. Finally, if we go to the My CRM area of the system and click My Solo Client, you will see that John gets notified of his last synchronization results in this area as well. This concludes our demonstration of ACPAC CRM version 5.7 Solo. Thank you for your attention.